Bonjour Parisian vibe, my name is Jamie Beck. I am an American living in Provence. I remember one of my first trips to the Louvre when I arrived in France, and I was looking at all of the portraits of the ladies, and I felt they represented me more than when I would look through a fashion magazine what the women represented looked like. And I was looking at all of the details of their body and their hair, and I just wanted to live like in a painting. And so that's kind of how I started to approach my life, was in these sort of beautiful details and these rituals that I could do at home myself. One of the best ways to do that is through the hairstyle. And it's incredibly fun in the summer to play with your hair because we want to bring it up off of our necks and out of our faces while we're busy, or while we're at the pool, or we go see our friends, or it's really hot, especially in Provence, it gets so hot. So I like to take this moment of combining the old world and the new world, and I do my hair in fun, interesting ways that are very portrait painterly and are inspiring and lovely, and I take the time for myself to do that so I feel good about myself. And I love to play with different kinds of accessories to express the way I'm feeling or the kind of story I want to tell through my fashion that day. Today, I would love to walk you through some of my personal 5 favorite hairstyles to do for summer, how to accessorize them. Some are very easy and quick, and some are a little more dramatic and elaborate so you can play. This is one of my favorite accessories for the hair, and I love to think of them more like jewelry in my hair than just a barrette or a hair clip. And even though it serves a purpose of holding my hair back throughout the day, it just kind of elevates you. It's like standing up straight when you put something this beautiful into your hair. And these pieces that are handmade in France, they have Swarovski crystals in them, and it's a really fine piece, and you can feel it when you're holding it in your hand. There's some weight to it. And this is a very simple hairstyle. We want to believe it's the 18th century in France, or maybe I want to believe it's the 18th century in France, where we have nothing but time. We have busy schedules now, but I still want to look put together. And this is a very easy way to do that. Where you take 2 pieces of hair, and you just twist them behind in the back. And for me, this reminds me of a beautiful old painted portrait of a lady. And it's a half up, half down, and all you simply do is weave the pin through the accessory. And it takes less than 10 seconds, and it's done. And it's secure, and you can leave it like this, really pulled back and clean, or you can make it a little more romantic, like you've been out, horseback riding all day, running through the fields of wildflowers of Provence. It's just a beautiful way to feel very put together. So today I'm using this beautiful pearl piece by Alexandre de Paris. And it makes me feel like one of the beautiful classic merchants' wives captured in the paintings at the Louvre. This year for me as an artist, I'm calling the Year of the Tulips. And it's a way for me to focus my body of work on a singular flower subject matter, because in Provence, we are not short of flowers. They're blooming everywhere, and I can get very distracted by all of them. So as a way to really understand and grow a body of work, I'm choosing just to focus on the tulips this year. And so I dream in tulips and tulip fields in Provence, and in my work in the studio, and in the way I dress and the shape of the clothing, and even into my hair. So I call this hairstyle the tulip. The tulip hairstyle that I do is quite simple to do. I use the Alexandre de Paris La Fourche, and it's a comb. And you take 2 fingers and you twist your hair up. And then with holding the 2 fingers there, you take La Fourche and you slide it in and flip it to tuck it under, and it will stay like this all day. And it's quite simple. And again, it's another very quick hairstyle that's very elegant, just like the tulip. My hair is quite long. I just use a couple of extra bobby pins to make a second twist at the bottom with the hair that's hanging down. And I tuck it up with a couple of the bobby pins to make a little second tulip at the bottom. Especially in the summer, when I wanted to have my hair back, but I don't necessarily want to pull it all up. And this is a very easy, very romantic hairstyle to just throw together into a quick French tresse and then add a little bow detail. In my photographic work, a lot about what I do is about details. Like this dress, for example, I created this dress because I wanted to bring to life little details that I feel like have been lost in fashion. And I live in this little world of all these quiet little moments. And with the hair, it's the same sort of thing I'm doing in my work, in which I'm making movements and all of the details, and I'm considering every element of it. So putting a bow is the same as in my work when I put a butterfly and having the bow coordinate to the velvet slippers. It all tells a story and it puts together a whole picture. So even though in my work I create photographs, it is the same in my life. I am the art and the art is me. When you create the initial braid, it's very neat, which is fine, but for my personal preference, I like it to have texture and movement, just like in my art. So all I do is I pull like this, the piece is loose in the front, and if you have even shorter layers, it's really, really lovely. And then I take the braid and I simply pull it apart like this. And if you have the pieces pop out, that's fine. It's really great. It's just movement and romance and effortlessness like that. So it makes your braid also thicker looking, which is really nice. So we have a really big, beautiful, messy braid. This hairstyle is inspired by a classic French icon, Catherine Deneuve, and I love it. It's so playful and feminine, and it's really beautiful with the bow on the top. I think it's a perfect thing to wear out in the summer for an evening soiree, or to meet up with friends, or to go on a date, and just have a little bit more light and fun in life. It's a very easy look to achieve at home. You just simply do a little bit of back combing on the top half of your crown, and then you can secure it with the barrette by Alexandre de Paris. It's like a modern day crown. It's just a really fun way to dress up your hair, to add a vibe that says you're here to have a good time and not to take things so seriously all the time. For this summer look, I am wearing a ring by Coralie van Kaloen, who is a jewelry designer in Belgium. And my top is by a New York designer called Merlette, who's a female designer who does incredibly beautiful, intricate work with very accessible fabrics. And my skirt is a linen skirt by Parisian designer Thierry Coulson, who is a good friend and probably the person who I wear the most of. I'm always looking for beautiful details, so if it's in a bow in the hair, if it's the way the shirt is pin tucked, or the way the skirt has the little details of the pleats and the pockets, it's all about the details for me. So when I'm putting together a whole look, it is quite literally from top to bottom. Just the way I put together a still life, all of the details, it is from top to bottom. And my shoes actually just came from a recent trip to Marrakesh in Morocco, where I visited the Yves Saint Laurent Fashion Museum there, which is a must-do if you are ever so lucky to be in Marrakesh. So all of these iconic French hairstyles we associate with people like Catherine Deneuve and Audrey Hepburn, Jackie Kennedy Onassis, Romy Schneider, these are all creations by Alexandre de Paris, and he's doing these in collaboration also with fashion designers like Yves Saint Laurent, who really set the history of the modern day woman in Paris and the way we look and the way we dress, and we can still honor that today, and we can still play the way they played with fashion and hair on the silver screen and on the runways and on the streets of Paris, no matter where you are. I always have bouquets of fresh flowers around the house and around the studio. Sometimes I pick them up from my local Saturday market, and sometimes I go visit the growers directly. It's one of the wonderful benefits of being in Provence, is having so many wonderful growers. I use flowers in my work. I use flowers in my home. It really elevates a room. It brings a freshness and a joy, and I always feel happier after I touch the flowers and look at the flowers and the color therapy with it. But it's not just for the home and for the work. Sometimes it's fun to use the flowers also for the hair. Just a nice little way to accessorize with little local flowers that I foraged. Just like that, all the way across. And it's just delightful, and people, like, especially in the Indian culture, they love flowers and ceremonies and for celebrations. And so to wear flowers, have them in your home, and make work with them is not only beautiful, but it is a celebration of life and joy. So it's fun to play. And you don't always have to consider the flower, which is very obvious. You can also just decorate with a little bit of greenery. As you can tell, I'm wearing a green linen skirt, which is perfect for warmer weather, spring and summer. So it's fun to decorate also with a little bit of greenery. It doesn't have to always be flowers. I love to wear flowers in my hair, and one of the iconic things that Alexandre de Paris had done was Brigitte Bardot's hair with a stack of flowers. So it's a timeless way to dress up a hair for a party and to have fun and to celebrate life, like the icons do. I hope you enjoyed this walk through the flowers and hair accessorizing with me. I hope you took some inspiration for your summer parties. So when you get dressed this summer, you could remember that fashion is in the hair.